What's up, everyone? A special Thursday night edition of the Allen Powell Show, NFL Draft Edition. Some big things going on in the draft. We will discuss it. Just the big things in the first round. The draft is still going on, but we will discuss the Bears draft pick and also everything that happened at the top. So, with all that being said, let's get ready to lock and load. Let's go.
Allen Powell. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on.
Thank everyone for tuning in to this special Thursday NFL Draft Edition of the Allen Powell Show. Y'all see me repping my squad, my Bears, and I got another one of my Bear fans coming to talk about this NFL draft and what the Bears did. Mr. Victor LeGrone, thank you, my brother.
Yo, what up?
Man, a lot has happened in this first round of the NFL draft, and I just want to get right into it, man. The first round is still going on right now, but it was a lot of fireworks. As expected, Bryce Young was drafted number 1, but after that, C.J. Stroud was drafted, but then we had a trade where Houston came back from number 12 to number 3 and drafted a linebacker, Will Anderson from Alabama, I believe. I got a lot of questions to ask you. We know that the Bears traded this pick to the Panthers, and the Panthers drafted Bryce Young. Just your initial thoughts about what Bryce Young can do for this Panthers and what the Bears can look forward to next year as far as the draft pick.
He can, develop into a solid quarterback if he can stay healthy. That's the biggest question mark with him is can he sustain those hits and those 260 and 70, 80-pound guys falling on top of him, you know what I'm saying, and things like that nature. He has all of the skills. He has all of the, to make the throws and all that. It's just his size. It worries me in the NFL.
Yes. As a Bears fan, we are hoping that it's a disaster in Carolina so we can get a high draft pick next year. We got Malsauce checking in on YouTube, Church Tabernacle Preach. I think he's enjoying the draft. He's also rolling with the Bears. But so the Panthers drafted Bryce Young, and I do agree with you. His size is definitely a question mark. We talk about injuries and can he hold up with the physical play of the NFL. But we go to the next pick, and the Texans select a bigger quarterback in C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. We know that our quarterback came from Ohio State, and the Houston Texans get their quarterback of the future, DeMeco Ryans, new head coach. What are your thoughts about C.J. Stroud at the number 2 pick?
Oh man, I like that, man. I if I was Carolina, I'd have took him number 1. That's just me personally. But yeah, man, the Texans had everybody fooled, man, but not me. I knew they were going to take C.J. Stroud if he was there.
Yes,
I knew it.
You couldn't pass up on a quarterback when you don't have a quarterback. Davis Mills is not going to cut it, and you got a new head coach. You have to go get your quarterback immediately and worry about everything else. You got to do that, right?
Yeah. Let everything else fall into place, and then it fell the way you wanted to. You you know what? We got the quarterback. Now we're going to roll the dice. We're going to come back.
They roll the dice. They make a trade. Coming up from number 12 to number 3, they traded with the Cardinals, and they get the linebacker, highly touted linebacker, Will Anderson. And you got to think the head coach is a former linebacker himself, and DeMeco Ryans. So he get his quarterback, then he get his defensive player. It's looking like a good start for DeMeco Ryans. What do you think about his 2 picks?
Man, DeMeco Ryans knocked the grand slam, bro. They knocked the grand slam. Like I never saw them coming back up to 3. When I heard about that, I'm like, whoa, who's about to do? I thought he's about to draft Jalen Carter, honestly, myself. Yeah. But he grabbed that young boy, Will Anderson, the Alabama boy, that bloodline, so that's a good pick, man. The Texans doing big things, man. They doing big things.
I like the fact that he's not waiting around, that he went up and got the guy that he wanted. He got an offensive player and got a defensive player. You got the quarterback. You got the quarterback and on the offense, and then you get a plug and play look to start and Will Anderson and Mouseoff says on YouTube. Also, I don't think anyone is stopping the Eagles defense. Just me thinking out loud. We're gonna get to that in a second with the Jalen Carter pick, but just to get back to the first couple of picks. So we got 1, 2, and 3, and then we get to number 4. And to me, this is where the shock value came in. I heard Anthony Richardson's name as a quarterback. He's a physical specimen and all of this, but I was still shocked to see the Colts take him at number 4. Was you shocked? And what are your thoughts about the pick at number 4?
Nah, I kind of wasn't, man, because that's the kind of quarterback that they wanted. They want a Justin Fields kind of quarterback. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what Anthony Richardson projects to be without the college success.
Right.
And they really want a guy that they can groom for 2 or 3 years. That way he can get better and they can stack also draft capital. They don't really look to be competitive right off the bat with this guy. They look to take increment steps to get better while also obtaining draft capital. They don't want to give up too much to move up. So this the guy that they really think they can take in and play in. And I like his physical tools that he brings. It's what he lacks right now is he only got 13 starts in college. It's experience. He hasn't saw much. So like I said, they got to bring him along slowly. That's all. But he got all the tools there. If he can get in practice and the coaches, the guy that coached Jalen Murray is his quarterback's coach now. The coach is the coach now. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So the guy that helped Jalen Murray get to what he is, he's the coach now. So if he can get Anthony Richardson to that kind of level, wow. You know, he's looking at that physical tools like this is what that league is trending to. Just I try to tell people when they try to knock Justin Fields, bro, this is what the league is trending to. They're not looking for statues in the quarterback. They're looking for the guys they can move the pocket with and make plays off script.
And to your point, the first 3 quarterbacks, they all can move. They all can move. None of them are statues. And that's a great point by you. I know CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, we heard about the most, but I heard Anthony Richardson's name, but it just wasn't for sure like the first 2 picks. So that's why I was a little shocked. And then it's the Colts. It's like, you know, I haven't seen them have a mobile quarterback since Jim Harbaugh. And that's the old time mobile quarterback. He moved.
Yeah, Andrew Luck had a little bit of ability, but not like this guy here. This guy here is like basically a linebacker in a quarterback's body. You know what I mean? Yeah, this guy is 245 pounds. He's 6'4". He runs a 4.4 and a 40.
Yeah.
Why you didn't hear much about him because, like I said, he came on the scene this year. He was inconsistent. The numbers weren't the greatest, but the potential is there. And when he made his mark, it was at the combine.
Do you think they reached at number 4 for him?
I mean, kind of, sort of, but at the same token, you got to look at his age and how they can work with him. And the next couple of drafts, you got some quarterbacks coming out, but you may not be in a position to get one of them. So, I mean, in this draft, you go with the best on your board. If he's the best player on your board, that's who you go with. I mean, you can say that, but in the same token, you can't because they need a quarterback. You can't always we always get on teams back about getting quarterbacks. To me, there's no such thing for a reach when you need a quarterback.
And see, that's the thing for me. We talk about best player available plus need. And to me, I don't think he was the best player available or on their top board. But like you talk about the need of a quarterback, being that they touch the ball the most, you have to get that secured. So I think that's one of the reasons why they probably had to go quarterback at number 4. But I'm definitely curious to see what happens with that pick. How quick he get the chance to start? Is he gonna sit the whole year? And just
it's a lot of questions. Depends on them. I would say he's not ready to play now, but if they did play him, I wouldn't be shocked just for the development. They like, man, the only way to learn to play, especially if they're not really trying to win anything. I say you throw him out there and let him learn. You know, he gonna get with the coaches, sign his deal, get with the coaches, work on his mechanics, look at film, and he gonna be a little bit better when we see him, but he's gonna be the typical, I'll be honest, who he kind of remind me of, and I'm not gonna talk about what his play. I'm just talking about his lack of experience coming into the NFL and like Mr. Trubisky.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just because they both had 13 starts in college.
Right.
You know, and people were expecting. So we already know the story with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ain't got to rehash that.
So
Yeah.
right now, I'm looking at the coach depth chart, and they have Gardner Minshew labeled as the starter. So, I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback. He can hold
Yeah.
this.
He's a serviceable bridge quarterback. Absolutely. And a
Right.
guy that this guy can learn from.
Exactly. So, and looking at that, I definitely think Richardson will be sitting for at least half the season until they know for sure they out of
That
the
they're out of, yeah. So they really, okay, we're tanking now for this. We're tanking for another one just in case you ain't good.
Right.
We might can go get Caleb Williams. It don't even matter. We took you at 4. We can trade you. Trust me, you'll still have value with your physical tools. Somebody else will like throw you on their squad and bring you along one of their other quarterbacks. Yeah.
And just to go back
Because we signed it down with the Jets. They had Sam Darnold. Then what they do, they could work around and take Zach Wilson. They like, we ain't even playing with you, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
just to go back a little bit before we move on to the Bijan Robinson pick, Bryce Young, do you think he start immediately or?
Oh yeah, he's gonna play. He's gonna play.
Okay.
He's gonna play.
And then what about C.J. Stroud?
He'll play. Davis Mills, come on, absolutely, he'll play.
Okay. So let's move on to we get to pick number 6. Pick number. Let me see. Number 8. I want to move to pick number 8 because that's when the highly touted running back Bijan Robinson gets drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. Now this pick, I think it was the best player available pick because they already had a running back in Tyler Algier. You know, you got Cordell Patterson still there. So I don't think it was a need as far as they see just excitement, a player they couldn't pass up. Do you get the same thing out of that pick?
Yeah, man. They looking at this guy like, you know, he's their guy. They like the other guys can be, you know, come in when he's tired or whatever. They can, you know, get their few carries a game, but he's young. He's a good running back, man. Kid's gonna be good in the NFL, man. He got all the tools. He can catch the ball out of the backfield already. Got great hands, like wide receiver. Like kid's polished already at his age and already. I mean, just what he bring, the cutting ability, like the football IQ. I like to study tapes of him because I was like, man, you know, kind of want to see what the hype was about. This kid, he real. He the real deal. They couldn't pass him up. They couldn't pass him up once he was there. They couldn't pass him up. No.
So
because although the Bears need the offensive line, I think if he was there, there's a possibility the Bears would have took him. I'm just being honest. People think I'm crazy when I say that, but if the Bears probably wouldn't have made that trade with the Eagles if this guy was still there. I'm being honest.
Yeah, some people you can't pass up. And like I remember, I want to say Randy Moss. I know he had some off-field problems at the time he got drafted, but just the potential that he had when you see a top-flight, exciting player that you can't pass up. I mean, they was comparing. I heard somebody on ESPN compare this guy. They said he can be a Saquon Barkley, Adrian Peterson type. And when you talk about Adrian Peterson, he's one of the best to ever do it. If he didn't get suspended, like he was on the verge of doing something.
Yeah, hey, bro, what I like about this guy here, what he said all these comparisons was great with those guys. He said he heard those comparisons. He said he wants to be the next Barry Sanders, man. That's what made me love the kid. Kid said he want to be the next Barry Sanders. So he studied Barry Sanders tapes. So that's what videos he watched. So he studied Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
So those guys are great. He take nothing away from him. But he said Barry Sanders is the guy for him. He won me over with that.
That's good stuff right there, man.
And then when he came to visit the Bears, he talked about, he watched Walter Payton too. So he looked at the old school backs. That's what he did. He said he followed the old school backs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Atlanta, I mean, they ain't got nothing to lose. I mean, why not take a shot? I think at this pick, in number 8, why not try to take a stab at the best offensive player in the draft, possibly?
I mean, with all those other guys, with all due respect to those other guys, this guy's more skilled than those guys, and he come to your huddle as the best running back and probably your best player on offense right now. Right now, today. Absolutely. He's your best player on offense. Absolutely. Your most skilled. He has the most skill on your offense right now, more than your quarterback, more than any of your wide receivers. That now that you traded Calvin Ridley over the Jaguars, he's the most talented player on your roster. right now offensively.
So that pick looks interesting. I would like to see what Atlanta looks like.
Well, hey, bro, while we speaking of that pick, we know you know who drafted that guy, right?
Say that one more time.
You know who drafted Bijan, right?
Who? It's the
Ryan Pace. He stuck it to the Bears too. Absolutely, he stuck it to the Bears too. I bet he knew they wanted him. I bet he knew they wanted this guy.
Yeah.
Because Coach Al Cunningham kind of let out the bag the other day. He like, we need a lot of holes. They said, would you take a running back that high? He like, man, we'll take the best player available.
Yeah. And you got to think. So they can do.
So he said, yeah, we'll take a running back that high. He's there.
They can do multiple running backs in the backfield. Slide them out. There's a slot receiver.
Bro, imagine him in the backfield. If the Bears could have got it, him and Justin in the backfield, Mooney in the slot, and Moore and Komet out wide.
Yeah.
That's scary for any offense. Now, but like I said, Atlanta couldn't pass him up.
And they're giving their young quarterback some help at the skill position. The young quarterback, I forget his name. But they drafted him. He's a young,
what is his name?
It's slipping my mind right now too.
Desmond.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
I think it's Desmond something.
Desmond Ritter. There we go.
Desmond Ritter. Yeah.
No. So moving on down to number 9, the originally the Bears pick, we get a notification. Eagles trade up a spot and get to number 9, and they select Jalen Carter with the number 9 pick. And bro, the tape that they were showing, he was doing stuff like Aaron Donald. The tape that I was seeing,
bro, I saw him pick up somebody with one hand on the sack, just pick dude up, and the referee's read in. He's like, I ain't gonna slam him down, man. He's like, I ain't gonna slam him down. I was like, with one hand.
right?
Picked up the quarterback with one hand or the running back or somebody with one hand, bro, and then just sat him back down.
Yes.
He's a freak. He's a freak, man.
He had an arsenal of moves. Like it was a bull rush. I seen a swing move. I seen a bull rush. I seen everything.
That dude is awesome, man. That dude is a great talent. Great talent.
As a Bears fan, are you disappointed that the Bears didn't draft him?
No, yes and no. I say no because I am a very, 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 very stern advocate of getting my quarterback upright this year. That is my number one. I put myself in the GM seat. That was my number one option. Everything that I do, I have to make my quarterback better. Everything I do with this draft, I have to make my quarterback better first. Got to. I have to make him first. Everything else will fall in place. Justin, you are my guy. This is for you, bro. You are the man. This is what they're telling you. And I love that.
What about a generational talent? A possible. What if he's a Hall of Famer? Do you still stick to your guns? It doesn't matter.
Bro. I mean, you win some, you lose some, bro. You can't like the Bears have so many holes, bro, to where it is like you draft him. What do you do with your O-line? How you keep Justin upright? You take like a third or fourth tier prospect to try to put him on the right tackle again and try to run that out there again, or do you go with who you have on your board, who you scouted and you watch? And I've watched who the guy. I'm gonna want to get into the name draft yet because I know we're gonna draft to that later. But I've watched that guy though too. And you talking about a big stud on the offensive line and a natural at his position that way they don't have to switch Braxton Jones. Oh, I love the pick. I went and did tape on this guy though too when I heard he was climbing up the Bears draft board. And oh man, he's good. He's good too. Real good.
And I know the Bears have to keep the quarterback upright, but I'm also looking at that defensive line and how horrible it was last year. You know, especially once they got rid of Robert Quinn, and we know that the defensive tackles were no good. So although I know we got to keep our quarterback upright, we also need defensive linemen. So I was going to be happy. I knew that we had to either address the O-line or the D-line. So I wouldn't have been mad if they would have drafted Jalen Carter. especially looking at his tape, looking at what he did compared to the draft pick that we got. I think Jalen Carter is way more dominant than the draft pick that we got. But we're going to get to that in a second. But before we get to that, I want to ask you, putting him with that Eagles who led the league in sacks, I believe. That team led the league in sacks. And now you put him in there with the Davis pick from last year and Fletcher Cox still there. Riddick still, he had like 19 sacks, I believe. And you plug in Jalen Carter. What does this Eagle defense look like? Because it looks like it's going to be unstoppable.
It does. It looks great. It does. It does.
I mean, I'm glad I'm not in a division. I tell you that.
You know what our coaches looked at? What the Bears franchise looked at, though, bro. There was a time last season when they led the league in scoring for like a month, and they didn't win a game.
Yeah.
Justin Fields was the most sacked quarterback. There were some games, bro, when they could have put up 50 points legitimately. They were down in the offensive line, like against the Commanders, for my instance. The Bears could have scored like 42, bro. Literally, I was at that game. They went in the 20-yard line, on the goal line, 5, 6, 7 times, and come away with one touchdown the whole night. And that was like a bomb from Justin. I was at the game.
Right.
So they looking at building up Justin even more, though, bro. They taking a crapshoot with some of the guys that they've scouted in the second and third round, but this is a deep draft class when it comes to edge and 3 techs. Okay. There's some guys that I think that's going to be there on day 2 or 3, bro, that are not as dominant as him, but they have the same physical trait, size, things like that. Nobody Jalen Carter. So we ain't going to even get that twisted and put that out there. Yeah. But there are some guys who come in and fit their system and can still, you know what I'm saying, help them build the defensive line too.
Listen, man. Hey. Cowboys gonna have their hands full. Giants gonna have their hands full with that defensive front that the Eagles putting out there. Let's go.
That whole division got kind of a solid defense. Cause don't sleep on the Commanders D line.
Yeah, for sure.
They got 4 guys, and they got to let one of them go because they can't pay them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't go after a quarterback.
Yeah. Let's go ahead, man, because we representing our squad. Let's talk about the draft. A lot of people expected the Bears to go O-line, and that's what they did. But I think it was a little shocker of who they picked. I didn't hear this name a lot. Offensive tackle Darnell Wright from Tennessee. A lot of people thought if it wasn't Paris Jackson, it would be the guard from Northwestern, Soronsky. But they picked Darnell Wright from Tennessee, and I didn't hear his name a lot. I think you said you liked him. Tell me your thoughts about Darnell Wright.
Oh, bro, I like him, man. He's a mauler, bro. He's a mauler, and he is sound in the pass and the run game, and he is a natural right tackle. He's a plug and play from day one. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you need. He is great. We should have got Carter, in my opinion. We could have got an OT second round. You couldn't have got you. You absolutely can say that. You know what I'm saying? We already discussed that. We definitely can't say that you couldn't have used Carter. We know that generates out for some reason. We know what it was though. That's why I don't even want to delve into his personal business. We know why the Bears passed him up. And I'm being honest, bro. If something happens with this guy and he's not mature,
right?
Ryan Poles didn't want to be his first round draft pick.
Right.
He didn't want to take that gamble with those character issues. He didn't.
And let me ask you this.
He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to look at, and I say that not just him, but look at all the other teams that passed over him, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to that, though, too. His take spoke to all those other teams, though, too. Houston, Texas traded up to number 2. His take is he's more dominant than Will Anderson, in my opinion, and Fuller. The guy's name. Yeah. But he's the more dominant player. All those teams that picked in the draft outside of the quarterback, needy teams could have used this guy.
Let me ask you this: Is his
Detroit could use him? They traded down.
Is his case settled already? Like, is it already settled where he's not going to get in trouble? Or
yeah, he good. He good. He just got to be smarter going forward. But some people just don't want to take the chance based on that. Like. Some people don't just, that was with people dying in that accident. Some people just don't want to take the chance. They like, man, some people red flags, ownership. Some people's ownership didn't want to sign off, bro. You got to give into things like that. See, people got to understand the politics of this. It's a little bit more to it than just a player with this guy. Because if it wasn't literally, bro, if it wasn't for those character issues, the Bears probably would have stayed at 1 and took him. I'm being honest.
Yeah. I want to talk about. Let's get back to Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle from Tennessee. I looked at some of his accolades and stuff. He's first team All SEC, no sacks allowed, and during the 2019 season, he was a 5-star recruit. But as I looked at the tape, he looked a little stiff. Like the speed rush can give him some problems. I do think but they said he's a great pass blocker and an average rush blocker. But looking at him on tape, it didn't seem like he got out on that edge quick enough, in my opinion. Based on what I looked at, based on what you've seen and what you know, what did you get from him?
I mean, what I get is good offensive lineman, but what he needs to work on going on the next thing is one thing. That's his technique. All the physical tools are there. I mean, he's a young player that they throw on the offensive line. I got to grow. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer from day one, but he's going to be real good from day one. I'm trying to tell you, he's going to be real good. He help solidify that offensive line with Davis that they got from Tennessee going forward. That right side of that line is going to be solidified.
Yeah.
We always talk about the Bears trying to finesse the offensive line, and like he just said, take a second round and all that. Right. Sometimes you have to take these thoroughbreds in this first round to protect your quarterback. This is how most of the championships team too. Just look at the Eagles and the Chiefs. They got some of them. They have 2 or 3 first round guys on the offensive line.
Yeah. Hey, Louis Riddick raved about this pick. Like, man, we got one of the best players in the draft. And this is the first time that I'm hearing that. But Louis Riddick raved about the pick. So hopefully Louis Riddick is right. And we got a plug-and-play dominant right tackle. And we still got Braxton Jones, who was pretty good at left tackle. He still needs some work. But speaking of Braxton Jones, just to touch real quick, he's been working out with older recruits the last 4 months. Okay. And Jamel says he shut down Carter in that game against Georgia. So if he did that, he's okay with me. He's okay.
He did that. I didn't want to throw that because that could have been a fluke. Yeah. I want to let him take once he get to the there, bro, and you see him play, you're gonna love this pick, bro. I'm telling you, you're gonna love this pick, Al.
Okay. Well, that's the Bears pick, Darnell Wright, and we're gonna look forward to see what they do in the second and third rounds. They got multiple picks. Before we get up out of here and get back to this draft, we do have a basketball game going on. It's a good game. Boston 110, Atlanta 111, game 6. Real quick, who you got? Does this go to 7 games, or do Boston find a way to close it out?
Man, I think Boston gonna close it out.
You know what, man? The playoffs been crazy. I think Atlanta gonna pull it off, and it's gonna go to game 7, and anything is gonna happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does, and I would love it. Give me more basketball. I never complain with more basketball.
Listen, this
game 7s are the greatest for the most part, boy. Game 7s are the greatest.
This is the best first round NBA playoffs I've seen in a long time. And just imagine if the injuries didn't happen to the Clippers and to some other teams, man.
If Giannis didn't miss those games, he missed. And if he was 100% going against Miami, so things happen though, man. Yeah. It's the nature of the game.
But yeah, man, listen, we are going to get back to this draft, and I'm going to finish watching this great game. But we will check in with y'all. Thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you for my brother for always answering the call. And we're going to see y'all, if not Tuesday, maybe another show to see what the Bears did in the second and third draft. We out of here, man. We'll see y'all.
Peace.
Hello, Alan Pass. It's the Alan Pass Show.